Greetings to the entire community. Welcome to another video. Well, it's not just another video. The truth is that many of you have been waiting for this kind of information that not many people know. How to generate $1 million by saving just $5 a day? Obviously, it's a system that adapts to all types of currencies and budgets. It could be $5, €5, etc. The system works, and it's not a magic trick. It's simply about discipline and common sense. Interested? Stick with me. Let's get into it. Before diving into the system, I want to make 4 quick points clear. If you ask anyone how to become a millionaire, the answer is usually simple: save and work hard. Well, let me tell you that this is completely false. No one gets rich by just working and saving. You need to understand this as soon as possible. Look, if we save €5 or $5 a day in a year, we'll have accumulated $1825. If we multiply that by 100, imagine a century, we would have reached $182,500. We are far from being millionaires. So, working and saving, not even in a century, makes you a millionaire. The second important point is the poor man's tax, inflation. If your money sits idle in the bank, its value decreases over time. Milk prices rise, bread prices rise, gasoline prices rise. You can do less and less with your money. So, this system is about moving money, fighting against inflation so that your money doesn't lose value. Of course, it's not a complicated process. It's much simpler than you think. It's also essential to note that this is not done for pleasure or to speed up the process. It's done for survival. The third crucial point is that this system is a long-term one. Whether you're very young or middle-aged, with time, you'll realize that years fly by. Time passes quickly. My best advice is not to rely on your country or any state for your retirement. Don't trust them. The pension you'll get in your retirement will be very small, and you'll face many hardships. Therefore, the best advice I can give you is that the only pension you can trust is the one you create for yourself. Anyway, we'll see different ways to accelerate the process and the system. The fourth point is that schools teach us about history, ethics, religion, languages, music, but they don't teach us to invest or manage money. This should be a basic part of education in schools and universities. This particular system should be taught in all educational institutions, but unfortunately, that's not the case. All I ask is for a like if you want to see this system and share this video on your social networks for maximum exposure. Now let's look at the system. This system is not complicated. You'll understand it immediately. It has 3 points, like a table with 3 legs. It's not complicated at all. Trust me, the first step is money. The money we're going to invest. It's about $5 a day, €5 a day. The key is that it's an amount we're comfortable with. A daily amount that usually slips away in small, unnecessary expenses. The so-called ants. You know, a cup of coffee versus a newspaper, a soda from a machine, chewing gum. The most important thing to follow this system is to pay yourself first every day. Every day, you must set aside $5 or €5 to put into the system. Imagine you've taken out a loan, but this loan is with yourself, and every day you have to repay yourself those $5 or €5. The next point, the next step, you probably guessed it. The money has to be moved. We've already mentioned that money loses value if it's not in motion. So, we're going to invest those $5 daily in one of the oldest investment vehicles globally, the stock market. Specifically, we're going to invest in one of the oldest stock market indices, the S&P 500, Standard & Poor's 500. It's an index created back in 1923, almost 100 years of history, comprising the 500 most important companies in the US. As you can imagine, being a variable income stock market index, it will have years of gains and years of losses, but ultimately, its trend is always upward, and most importantly, it yields an average return of between 7.5% and 8%. Since we're going to invest in this index, the simplest way is through an investment fund. Specifically, we're going to choose exchange-traded funds, ETFs, which are investment funds that are traded on stock exchanges like regular stocks. An example is this Vanguard investment fund with the symbol VOO, referencing the S&P 500. As I mentioned, it's just an example. You can choose any fund you like. This particular fund, as you can see on the screen, performs quite well, with returns very similar to the actual S&P 500, and has relatively low management fees. Dollars or €5 a day. Now, as you can see, let's see the difference between simply saving without investing or following this system, which, the next step in this system, as Albert Einstein once said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. That's precisely what we're going to do. Invest our $5 daily in that 8.5% average return of the S&P 500 through compound interest. Essentially, compound interest, if you didn't know, is accumulating interest on interest. We keep accumulating capital and reinvesting it. So what are we going to do? We're going to invest the 1825 which is the equivalent of multiplying $5 daily by 365 days in a year, at an 8% interest. We've chosen an average between 7% and 18.5%, picking 8%. In 50 years, White, I know what you're thinking, that 50 years is a long time. First, let me tell you that we'll see how we can speed up the process of this system. And second, believe me when I say it's much better for the years to pass following this system than for the years to pass with empty pockets. What's the result? As you can see on the screen, in 50 years, we'll have more than $1 million with just $5 or €5 a day. Now, as you can see, let's see the difference between simply saving without investing or following this system, which is to save and reinvest. As you can see, following this system, in 10 years, we'll have $30,000. If we don't invest, we'll have $20,000. As the years go by, the difference becomes more and more noticeable. When 20 years pass, we have $91,000, and the other way, we only have $38,000. When 40 years pass, we have over $500,000 versus $74,000 if we only save. By the 50th year, we have over $1 million, while the other way, we don't even reach $100,000. We've multiplied our money by more than 10 times. Just 3 simple rules to follow this $5 a day system. The first, the most obvious. There will be months when you can't invest, and there will be months when the ETF's price exceeds your monthly contribution. Don't worry. Invest every 3 months, every 6 months. It doesn't matter. The important thing is to do it periodically. The second, don't sell. You always have to reinvest the profits. You always have to keep buying shares of that fund. And the third is never to vary the contributions. It must be constant, strict. Following these simple rules will lead you to success in this system. And now, let's see how we can speed up the process. Ready? To speed up the process of this system, I can think of 3 ways. The first, the most obvious, is to increase the amount of contributions. This system is designed for $5, €5, but you can double the contribution or increase it. $1, $2, whatever you want. Obviously, with a higher contribution, the number of years decreases. Another way to increase profitability, reduce the number of years, and also guarantee success is to choose a good time to start the system. It's not the same to start investing when the stock market is very high and then go through all the downturns, as it is to start investing at a low point. If we start this system during stock market declines, we'll get much higher returns. We don't know how long this process will last, but when it reaches the bottom, it's a good time to start this system. The third way to reduce the number of years is, obviously, to increase the interest we obtain. This system is long-term. We assume an average of 18% profit, but if you actively manage it, you may increase that profit interest. By doing so, you reduce the number of years to reach that $1 million or €1,000,000. For example, you can maintain this $5 system and then create another small system with contributions of $3, $2 with more active management. Need ideas for investing? Well, as many as you want. Subscribe to my channel, as many of you will also ask, how can I start investing? Well, as many online brokers. You have a selection of it like Robinhood, Schwab.com, etc. Now, it's your turn. Tell me what you think about the $5 strategy. If you liked it, if you're going to follow it, if you have new ideas to speed up the process, leave all your opinions in the comments section. Super thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, I invite you to do so. And very importantly, activate notifications. That way, YouTube notifies you when I upload a new video. But as with everything, if you don't have good management of your personal income, none of the recommended advice will be useful. So, I encourage you to download for free Personal Finance Management System for Financial Success. The link will be in the video description. Remember, don't look for a job, create it.